afternoon, New Orleans, or wherever you may be. It's Wednesday at 4, so that means one thing. It's Baldy and the Bond time.
Yes, it is.
Which one are you?
Today I have hair, so.
Well, I don't, so
I'm
it looks
assuming.
like status quo. I'm Tom Coates with the great Michel Godin. Say hello, Michel.
Hello, everyone.
So we had some excitement, of course. The internet's all abuzz with the White House Correspondents' Dinner and the events that happened there. And a lot of people are saying it looked and smelled fishy. I don't disagree with that group.
Looks pretty strange to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Secret Service has been up to, but, you know, we saw in Butler massive failures. I mean, a kid walking around on a roof with a gun top and citizens, you know, literally grabbing police officers, and they can't talk to Secret Service, and he's aiming at the President of the United States, whether you like him or not. And not only did heads not roll after that, but the guy named Sean, what's his last name, Curran, who you see in the picture, the iconic picture of Trump with the flag and his hand up in the air saying fight, that guy was promoted, and he is currently the head of the Secret Service.
Which suggests he did his job, because that's who gets promoted.
Presumably, and
so
you know, Trump was quoted as saying he thought Curran saved his life.
Okay, well,
I thought Curran dropped the ball in a major. Now, I don't know for sure. I don't believe Curran was in charge that day, but I do remember Dan, the former man Bongino, stating when Sean Curran was being considered before Dan became a sellout at the administration, saying that Sean Curran was a bad choice. He is not a good leader. He will not, you know, go through the rank and file and get rid of bad hires, etc. So I think he's continuing to prove that he's not up to the task.
Well, Butler was extremely fishy with the Secret Service protection.
Very much.
And it goes way beyond that, because you have this kid Crooks we know nothing about, except we know that his cell phone pinged at or near an FBI location in Washington, D.C. like 4 times.
Well,
like
Tom,
leading up to that.
We were using all of our FBI assets at the time to investigate old ladies who were at the Capitol, where they could tell you every move they made for weeks before they went and took pictures in the Capitol on January 6th. So we did not have time or resources to devote to find out what the would-be assassin of Trump, Thomas Cook's phone was doing near FBI headquarters, you know, in the time period leading up to his attempted and almost successful assassination.
It's, well, I mean, if you want to put all that in air quotes, maybe. I mean, from my perspective, I'm not buying that stuff anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. You got no reason to buy it. I mean, you have reasons to question everything.
He got on the roof, and everybody in the world knows it except Secret Service and law enforcement. And then they immediately washed the roof off, and they couldn't check that roof. Their own official story is we couldn't get anybody up on that roof because it was too steep.
Yes.
All of that was ludicrous. And then the next day, somebody's up there just hosing it off.
Yeah, well.
So that one smelled really bad. And then this one, it's just
Wait, one more thing about Crooks. Don't forget.
Yeah.
His house couldn't really be inspected because somehow it had been cleaned as though it was a crime scene. Like they had no dishes, and he lived there with his parents.
Yeah.
No dishes, no silverware, no nothing. It was just one bizarre thing after the other.
It was, but
we're living in kabuki theater.
We are, but
crazy.
For today, we're isolating on Secret Service, and that what they did there was very bizarre. What they did Saturday night was bizarre. I want to play a sound clip from a guy named Larry Johnson. Before this happened, I'd never heard of him before, but he is a former CIA analyst. Now he's a political commentator.
For who?
I don't know.
No, I don't either. I'm
just an independent guy, maybe.
I'm a looking.
Yeah, you don't have to be like with anybody. A lot of people do their own independent stuff.
Baldy and the Blonde, for example.
Well, sure. There's a lot of those. Anyway, so he thinks it's straight up staged. Now, that's a pretty strong word. I don't know if I'm willing to go there, but I'd like to hear what he has to say.
The story stinks to high heaven. Let me emphasize, this is not just my opinion. I've got a buddy who ran Reagan's security detail after Reagan was shot. Experienced Secret Service officer. He actually set up the training protocols that Secret Service is supposed to adhere to, which they are no longer following. Now, let me emphasize that. So the first thing that caught my eye, the first person that's taken off the stage, so you got gunfire outside of the ballroom, it's not inside the ballroom. The first person to be taken off stage was J.D. Vance. And I look at it and go, what in God's name is going on? The protocol, the standard, the requirement is the president. Get the president. Everybody else can die. The president, that's who you save. That's what Secret Service is supposed to be trained to do. They didn't do that. They take off J.D. Vance. So you're going, okay, what's going on? Trump initially, everybody else is ducking behind tables. He's sitting there calmly looking around like, did he know this was going to happen? Was this staged? I believe it was staged.
So it is true. They took J.D. Vance out a full 20 seconds before Trump was taken out. And then, and he is right. I watched the video, actually right before we went on the air. I was reviewing a couple different angles. Trump just sat there. His story to 60 Minutes was that I told them I wanted to see what was going on. No, he didn't tell anybody anything. He was just sitting there. He had two people come up behind him, and they didn't cover him up. They didn't throw him to the ground. They really didn't do anything. And it was 20 seconds after Vance was safe, Trump was finally safe. And then after that, Trump was photographed standing in the wings behind the curtains where they took him, standing in the wings with no security around him. It's not a response you would expect to see had this been a real thing.
Well, it is the response you would expect to see in light of the recent responses at Butler and at his golf course. So I'm not prepared. I mean, it could be staged. I don't think Trump looks suspicious. I thought he looked like he didn't see what happened.
I never said anything that Trump is suspicious or anything. I'm saying that the reaction was not what you would expect to see from Secret Service.
Well, I agree with that. And so, but it is what I would expect to see nowadays from Secret Service. It's not what they should be doing. But I just thought when you looked at the faces, first of all, Melania was the only one at the table, on that side of the table. It was Trump, some magician who to me is extremely suspicious, Oz Perlman, who, not a magician, some guy who was trying to guess the name.
He's like a mentalist, I think.
Yeah, a mentalist. So it's Trump, the guy standing behind him who is Oz Perlman, Melania, and then Carolyn Levitt, who is 9 months pregnant. And he was trying to guess, Perlman was trying to guess Levitt's child's name because he says he can, divine these things out of thin air. So the only person that looked like they heard the shots or realized something was wrong was Melania. And frankly, I don't know what happened with her. I've read that she went under the table because I don't see anybody trying to get her off the stage. I don't see anybody helping Carolyn Levitt. I see them come up by Trump and kind of push him out, like down on the floor as you near the exit. But he did just sit there looking like, I don't know, he looked clueless to me.
And so did everybody standing around him when they were supposed to be protecting him. They didn't do anything.
Ridiculous.
And Vance was long gone.
Long gone.
So they knew,
they were on Vance and dragged him out of there.
It was a problem.
Something's so wrong with the Secret Service. And once again, just, nothing will happen.
Well, now, there's other clips about people who were caught.
Let's do it, yeah.
Here's one guy caught on a hot mic describing.
He's a Fox News correspondent, I believe, right? Jimmy Fallon.
I don't know how he says his name.
Or Fala.
I don't know how he says it. I've never heard it pronounced.
It's not Fallon. That's to be confused with Jimmy Fallon.
He's caught. I'm going to play the original one, which is got a little bit of background noise. It's a little bit faster, but I want you to hear it in the original. Then I've slowed it down and enhanced it so you can hear it a little better. Here's the original. Nope, I think I clipped the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm going to just have to go with the
enhanced version.
Yeah, I got the wrong section of the other. He's standing there on the red carpet and noticing that there's just no Secret Service protection. I'm an idiot today.
I love that they have like two random chicks holding the front door open. I'm not even trying anymore. It's something like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. I think the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guy, it wouldn't even make it better. Like, they might as well put a doorstop in.
Right? Two
They
random
put a doorstop and a scarecrow.
They might as well have a doorstop and a scarecrow. It's two random chicks who work for the hotel
Yep.
holding the door open. That's the security.
That's it. And we pay a lot of money for that.
And then he has a show that he does on Fox. It's called like Fox Across America. I'd never heard of it till this incident. So I watched the first 10 minutes of that on double speed to see if he even mentions this. Nope.
No,
Doesn't even mention it.
no, because he got caught saying something that,
Shouldn't be out there.
Two chicks just, holding the door. I mean, they're not even trying anymore. They might as well have a doorstop.
And he's right.
A doorstop.
They weren't trying.
And a scarecrow. Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with the fabulous Tom Coates. And we are discussing the many failures of the Secret Service over recent years. And before that, actually, because we're going to touch on maybe some assassination attempts, the events at the White House Correspondents' Dinner the other night, and then we'll venture off into more love from our government who just can't get enough of spying on us. And the charge is being led, sadly, by Mike Johnson out of Louisiana, and that's to extend the ability to spy without warrants, despite the Constitution, on American citizens. But for now, more fun and games with the Secret Service.
Well, besides the Secret Service, it's just other anomalies about this thing because you see something like this happen, it should be open and shut if it's really what they said. A guy who rushes in, fires off a couple shots, they subdue him, president's safe, J.D. Vance safe, dust settles, no other weirdness. But here, you've got this guy caught on an open mic saying they're not even trying anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They might as well have two random chicks holding the door open. Might as well have a doorstop and a scarecrow. And then you have this. Here's another one. This is a soundbite. This is a Fox News reporter, Aisha Hasni. She's probably extremely famous, but I've never seen her.
Yeah, I don't know
or
her
heard her
either.
name before. She's on the phone with the studio at Fox, from the scene. And then now I'm going to play that. She's just going to describe what she saw and heard, and it's amazing what she was told by the husband of Carolyn Levitt.
Yeah.
You're going to hear a bunch of dead air. That's not us going dead, but I'm going to let it stay because that's part of the sound clip I'm going to play.
Yes.
Here we go.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time.
No, that does not happen.
No, it does
That is not a
Ridiculous.
thing.
That's
We
ridiculous.
all have cell phones.
We all know better, buddy.
Now I know it's hard to text when you're at the Superdome or at a big. If you're at Jazz Fest or something,
Yeah.
you can't always do that. But if you're on the phone with somebody, your call drops because there's 2,000 people in the ballroom?
No, the issue is getting a line. She already had the line.
Correct. They cut her off because she
Absolutely.
was saying something they did not want said.
And he was about to. She was about to say what he said to look out for.
Yeah.
There are people.
He said, "Yeah, there are some," and then
Why, yeah.
stopped. And this was right before the shooting.
Yeah.
Immediately before, and they cut her off. Again, this has nothing to do with Secret Service, but a very strange anomaly. And here's another one. This is all over the place. You see this where in December of 2023, I think it was, December 22nd, I think, 2023, somebody opened a Twitter account and tweeted one thing and never tweeted another thing. And it was the name of this assassin.
Right.
The would-be assassin.
Cole
Allen.
So somebody opens an account, tweets Cole Allen, and closes the account.
And never to tweet another thing. Now, and it gets even more bizarre. It's under some heading called Time Machine or something. So are we living in some weird matrix where somebody
Would you
traveled
be-
in time? I'm kidding. I'm not kidding about the time machine label. That's true.
Yes.
But there's people all over online saying, well, does that mean he traveled in time? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It's not the simplest explanation. I don't know what the explanation is. But again, it's not an open and shut thing. Like, they didn't just, like, we had good security. He busted through. We subdued him. Everybody's safe. There's really nothing much to the story other than that. But here, there's a lot more to the story.
Oh, there's a lot. Suppose, as you and I have discussed off air, suppose he had a gang of 5 with him.
Well, there you go. And not just a shotgun.
Yeah. A gang of
Correct.
5 runs through the door. We have literally our president today, if they have a successful attack on Trump, Vance, and Mike Johnson, the president today is who?
Well,
it's Senator Chuck Grassley, who is 92.
1,000 years old.
Yes, he's 1,000 years old.
But you know what? But on the days you had, because who knows where Mike Johnson was at that time. Now, he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
But on the days you had the president and vice president, that alone probably goes against protocol.
Well, it certainly would raise the security profile, right? You wouldn't have some agents, sitting what looks like
the
looking
VP
at. They're
doesn't
looking
even
at
go
their
to the State of the
phones.
Union address.
They're looking at their phones.
Yeah. Think about that. The VP does not even attend the State of the Union address for that reason. They don't travel together.
Yeah, no, because
What are they doing on the same days?
I don't understand it.
They're not supposed to do that.
It sounds like you're saying days. You're saying dais, correct?
I don't know what I'm saying
You're saying
anymore.
the stage.
point is
No, I'm serious. It's confusing.
dais.
Yes, dais.
I say, okay. You say tomato. I say potato.
potato.
The point is, they're not supposed to be at the same place at the same time.
Right,
like
and there
that.
they are on the stage at the same table.
And what if you had
Ridiculous.
5 guys, 10 guys? Here's how you know that the terrorist threat is way overrated, obviously. Where are the bad guys? Where are the groups of 5 bad guys? Where are they?
Well, I don't know.
Where are the all the Iranian bad guys that should have rushed the stage last night? Where are they? You had one guy with a shotgun that never got anywhere near.
And it's some kind of a Caltech science nerd professor. I mean, that ain't no, that's a big school. That is a school for science geniuses. What is this guy doing?
MK Ultra victim, maybe?
That's
I
what
don't know.
I'm thinking, because his little statement that they're calling they're calling it that big word that I can't think of right now.
What, his
but
manifesto?
Yes, his manifesto. It's absurdly written, but he also makes a point of saying, no security here, fellas. It was easy. So what we have broadcast to the world is that we do not protect our president. I mean, we just don't. So
Well,
we got
I mean, it was-
Butler, we got the golf course, we got this.
Exactly, it's obvious. So, like I say, okay, where are the real bad guys who really mean business
I'm
in
s-
groups of 5,
Yeah.
heavily armed? If they existed, maybe we would.
We have to
whip
create them,
out.
Tom. We work very hard.
Exactly.
MK Ultra, the FBI, the CIA, they're out there with, recruitment techniques. And, sounds crazy, but look it up. Look up MK Ultra. And maybe today they do it online in these little groups, that they're all supposedly hanging out in these online groups of Reddit or something else. I don't know. I don't know where they.
Well, I don't know what
these
kind of
guys.
programming you can do online. You can do a lot of programming with TV. I mean, that's why they call it programming.
Television.
Yeah. Now,
Television.
when we do come back, I wanted to touch on some other assassinations and assassination attempts throughout history to talk about just the crazy anomalies and BS stories that we've been fed, and we don't have to dwell on them. We've talked about them before, and a lot of them, not a lot of the information is new, but in fact, maybe our
Some of
listeners
it might be new.
It might be new to some of our listeners. The point is that
Get to the point.
the story is so rarely cut and dried, just forthright, truthful. It's always obfuscation, lies, plenty of reason not to believe them. Just like there's so many question marks about the Charlie Kirk thing, the Butler thing,
Absolutely.
this thing just Saturday night.
It's getting harder and harder for them to cover up because of the internet. Thank you, Al Gore.
Michelle, you feeling like a superstar today?
Not today.
No, why not?
I'm feeling like on the break we had the most depressing conversation because we're just to the point now where we just go, everything is a lie. Everything.
Everything's a lie.
We're going to have no new wars.
Well, everything that comes out of Washington, for sure, is a lie.
That's what I don't mean in your personal relationships.
Correct. Right.
I'm talking about the citizens' relationship with their rulers, the people who think that, and I don't care which side you're on, they all lie to us about everything. They're stealing our money, our cities and our streets, and everything is a disaster. The city of New Orleans has to collect rent from Caesars for 10 years because we're a disaster, even though we pay high property taxes. It's everything is a lie and everything's a mess. And I'm not feeling any. However, there is Jazz Fest. I did see Stevie Nicks this week.
All right, then.
And that was awesome. So kind of maybe think the answer is, well, I don't know what the answer is, but it's very important that you have normal friends and family and do fun things and have some love in your life because the government is disgusting and they lie and steal and make problems everywhere.
That's all they do.
That's all they do.
If you view
Solve nothing.
If you view particularly the federal government,
oh my God,
as a criminal syndicate,
they are.
Then everything makes sense. But if your view is that they are our representatives and they're there to help us and represent us, then nothing makes sense. It's like, well, then why are we in so much debt and why are we sending all our money to overseas and why all this graft and corruption? But if you see them as a criminal syndicate, you're like, well, of course. It all makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But
once
you know
look
what?
at them like The Godfather.
But what you said was really important. You need to find some goodness because what comes out of there is so toxic.
Yes.
Constantly.
Yes.
So I think it was on Saturday night. My wife and I came into New Orleans. We live on the Gulf Coast. We came in for a couple of shows. We saw Samantha Fish at House of Blues. So we saw Better Than Ezra at the Fillmore. Fillmore's on the second floor of Caesars.
Yeah.
And so we had really good seats. We were practically on the stage for Better Than Ezra. And so what the house lights came up showing the crowd because the band wanted to see the crowd.
Yes.
So at that time when they did that, I turned and I basically had the band's view of the crowd. And they were joyful. There was, I think the capacity, it's not a huge place. The capacity's something like 2,500.
Wow.
But they were joyful.
Yep.
Everyone's smiling and singing to everything they were singing all the words.
I know. Isn't that nice?
I could think, and while they are in that moment,
yes,
I'm in a separate moment. Because honestly, Better Than Ezra's not totally my jam. I went because my wife wanted to go. It's not that I don't like them, but it's
just
not really my jam. So I took that moment to see this sea of happy people singing along to this music, and I'm thinking, you know who's out there? There's a lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans, probably a lot of crazy Democrats,
sure,
and a lot of weirdo far right-wing Republicans.
Yes.
Not enough libertarians like me, but a few, probably.
No doubt.
But a lot of crazies like you and me were out there. In other words, there was a mix of everything, and guess what? Everybody was having a freaking awesome time.
Yes, because we're not meant to have to deal with the division that they stir up on purpose to keep themselves in power forever.
Yeah.
And that's all it's about.
Talk about divide and conquer.
I had a similar experience. I was at, the Jazz Fest. I go a lot. And always, but I'll go with the Stevie Nicks stage, but I was at a lot of great music, including local great Craig Klein. I've heard all kinds of just great people. And you look around and everybody is happy. They're dancing, they're singing the lyrics, they're high-fiving each other, they're hugging each other. It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Because
people who
people
would otherwise
are not really like what we have been driven insane
exactly
by a very sophisticated government exercise in keeping everybody at each other's throats. And I'm not look, there's tons of books written about this. You can go all the way back to the beginning of the propaganda, all the way to now. There's tons of books written about how you divide the people and conquer them and keep them at each other's throats so that we don't look at what they're doing to us. And what are they doing to us? I mean, I can just think off the top of my head. Somebody said, I can't remember where did Obama send those giant cargo planes filled with cash, pallets of cash? Was it Iran? It was Iran. Yeah.
To Iran, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing
$5
came of
billion,
that.
I think.
It was $5 billion in cash.
Cash
Pallets, our money to Iran for I don't know what. I don't think there was ever a single indictment. Nothing.
Oh, please, indictment.
You can't even keep track of it all.
Let me say this: like the people that I saw that night, the people you saw at Jazz Fest, they, on a regular day, they're each other's sworn enemies because Fox and CNN said they're supposed to.
Yes.
But then you go to Jazz Fest and it's everybody's cool.
I mean,
because everybody is cool in real life if they would just let us be. But you know what? Just turn off CNN and turn off Fox and live your life.
Please quit looking at
and listen to Baldy and the Blonde.
Right, we're way better.
And once the tyranny's gone, if only we could talk away the tyranny.
Well, I don't really know what the answer is.
I don't think they're tuning in to listen to us.
I don't think the answer is, I don't know what it is. One of the answers is for people to start realizing that we have given too much control over our lives to these thieving pigs in Washington, D.C. of both parties.
Well, that's true, but they have seized control. We haven't ceded it.
That's true.
They're taking our money. They're spying on us. And you know what?
Oh, yeah, the spying thing. Oh, my God. I haven't even talked about that. It's so awful. Okay.
The people on the far, far left who say that the right sucks are correct. And the people on the right that say that the left sucks are correct. The left and right suck. They're both right about that.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean coming out of Washington.
Yes,
they are toxic.
Of course, we're not talking about the
people.
They
are trash, and they are our enemies. And we have not made them our enemies. They have made us. What do you do to your enemies? You spy on them and you steal their money.
And you divide and
they're
conquer.
the ones doing that. Are you spying on them? Are you stealing their money?
No.
No, they're doing that to you.
We're
They're
not
doing
allowed
that
to know
all
anything
Americans.
because they lie to us. They obfuscate. We can't know who killed our presidents. You know, we still don't know the JFK story. We'll never know until the people of the United States finally go, you know what? I think they all lied to us and they're stealing and robbing us blind and dividing and conquering us. We really need to put an end to this. I don't know exactly what the end is, but there has to be a better way. This is just awful.
That was Tea Party and Occupy Wall Street at the same time, almost merging camps, and they could not let that happen.
No,
because that was left meeting right for real.
And that's why you saw some crossover with people that don't understand it, don't get it, but I do. There was crossover between the Ron Paul groups and the Bernie Sanders groups because it was power to the people, basically, without trying to sound like a 60s freak. But, you know, it was.
Well,
it was enough with the thieves and robbers and so-called elites that pretend that, well, they are our rulers with iron fists, and let's take back the power for ourselves.
Well, it was both sides realizing, because it's true, the left is being screwed, and it's true the right is being screwed, but the left isn't the one screwing the right and vice versa, not the people.
No, it's not the people.
It's both sides being screwed by Washington. And back in, what was that, when was the Tea Party in
2008.
08. Right?
7, 8,
I think it was 8.
12.
And, well, no, but the Occupy...
around the same time, I think.
Yeah, I think it was at the same time. And it had those two, like, actually got together and merged their efforts, and realizing, geez, we are being screwed, but it's not by each other.
No, it's by our robber
And we did
barons.
have it figured out, but they had to come in and split all that up.
Yep.
But just please turn off Fox and CNN.
And God, MSNBC. Oh my God.
Yeah. Although
just pathetic, all of it. So I don't know where you can get. Okay, let's talk about that. Where can you get some decent information?
Well, the thing is, I mean, how do you honestly know in this day and age, especially with AI?
I don't know.
It's hard to know what to trust with audio and video. In fact, I'm not even here. This is my AI voice. I don't even work for you anymore.
Funny, you look like a hologram sitting there.
Yeah. So, no, I don't know. There are some great podcasts.
Yeah,
Dave Smith has a great podcast.
Dave Smith
Tom
is
Woods.
awesome. Tom Woods, great.
I know that, well, there's some great long-form ones, but because they're so long-form, I don't listen to them. I just hear some highlights.
I
know
him.
Tucker Carlson is great.
He's
Joe
great.
Rogan does a great job. He's not in the same camp, but he does a great job.
Yeah, and the fellow from the North Shore.
Theo Vaughn.
Yep.
I've never listened to him. I've
He's
just
not
heard
much,
some
he's
highlights.
not my, as you say, jam, but I think he's a straight arrow.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like on the only investigations being done with any seriousness, far more detailed and excellent investigation into the Charlie Kirk killing is by Candace Owens, followed by Baron Coleman, who's a lawyer in Tennessee, and then some ballistics guys. I can't think of their names, but you can look them up.
Well, the thing is,
so there are people doing good work.
We've
tried here.
Here's what I would recommend: is you listen to people that, when they do speak, you have reason to believe them.
Yes.
Because it matches up with what your own eyes tell you, maybe what your instincts tell you, what history tells you. But when you have, here's an example that Mark Levin now is calling for censorship. Since when? He's the big constitutional genius, and now he's pushing for censorship.
Of course.
He's saying the same thing that the left was saying, about COVID. These are private companies and they can do what they want. And if they want to shut down people for saying mean things about Trump, they can. And because you know what? That is coming. Carolyn Levitt has hinted toward it. We've seen hints. We don't know what's coming down the pike, but there's going to be some censorship pushed by the right. It already is. And we'll touch. But there's already laws about inciting violence. We don't need more.
No, we don't. No censorship. You are allowed to be an arrogant pig in the United States.
And I am.
And there you go. And you are living proof of that, Tommy. Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with Tom Kowitz. You can check all our shows out at baldyandtheblonde.com. We are now continuing in our uplifting discussion of assassination, spying on Americans, and the basic vice grip that we live in due to our rulers.
I was hoping to give this next topic more time, but we ran out of time because I got too big of a mouth and I just can't shut up. So sorry about that. But because we've had the Butler fiasco, we had this fiasco on Saturday night.
Yeah, Secret Service.
Correct. And then that led me to look at the other BS stories we've been told over the years on some very high profile ones.
All lies, all the time.
Starting with, so going back to JFK and going forward. So JFK, get this. There's a million anomalies you can point out there. I'm going to point out one. That because right now, to this day, the official autopsy photos, the autopsy was done at Bethesda. That's a military and naval hospital. The official photos from that autopsy, the back of JFK's head is intact. You had 24 or more than 24 emergency room physicians and nurses saying that basically there was like a softball-sized hole in the back right area of his head.
Of course.
28 of them, I think, was the number. And the official photos today, the back of his head is intact. What else? You don't need magic bullet. You don't need anything else. You need just that. Then going on to RFK Sr., right? That was June of '68 at the hotel, Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. They were told it's Sirhan Sirhan. RFK Jr., his own son, says that story is preposterous. There's no way. All of the shots, according to the autopsy, were all contact shots, meaning the gun was touching the body or his clothes of RFK Sr., and it was definitely not Sirhan Sirhan in the story that we're told.
And I mean, that's an indisputable fact. I don't even understand how he's
exactly.
in jail. I don't. I mean, he did shoot other people.
Then fast forward to Martin Luther King. Not so much a fast forward. That was not
close in time.
They're very close in time. His family does not believe it was James Earl Ray. Coretta Scott King said that, quote, she said, there is abundant evidence of a major high-level conspiracy in the assassination of my husband. She did not believe it was James Earl Ray. Then you go to Trump at Butler, what we talked about before. They didn't see him on the roof. All the people there saw him on the roof, but not the good guys didn't see him on the roof. And then they washed away the evidence, and they said we couldn't get on the roof. It was too steep. And then you go to Charlie Kirk.
Right.
What did they do right after the crime scene? They restuccoed the building behind him. They tore up the grass and paved over it.
Yes.
What is going on?
Obfuscating was probably pieces of the exploding mic that was under his shirt that many experts believe killed him. So, and what do all these things have in common? Number one, more lies to the people.
Just
Cover-ups
nothing but lies.
in your face. They don't even.
Yeah, exactly,
it's
in
like
your
that guy
face.
said. They're not even trying.
Not
anymore.
even trying.
And that was Jimmy Fallon from Fox saying they're not even trying. And we pay for it. We pay for everything, and it's all lies. And I don't know where it ends. But it's, our country was founded because we were suffering what Thomas Jefferson termed a long train of abuses at the hands of King George. And he lists those abuses. Go read your Declaration of Independence, ladies and gentlemen, and tell me how it stacks up with the abuses that we are currently suffering. Jefferson goes on to say, when this happens, it becomes the right and the duty of the people to throw off the government. I am not advocating violence at all. I am very much against violence, whether in war or your personal life or in any shape or form. But we are absolutely living under tyranny in this country. And just in case you're wondering, what I was referring to with regard to the government spying on us, I'll just briefly mention that the FISA bill that has allowed the courts, secret courts in America, to spy on without warrants American citizens, our lovely Louisiana delegation is full force in favor of continuing that. There may still be time. I know that they crossed a hurdle today and advanced the bill to continue the warrantless spying on Americans. Mike Johnson's office, I called. I explained I have a radio show. I am on the Parish Republican Executive Committee. And I said the same thing to Scalise's office. I've heard back from no one because we have no accountability. We are just little worker bees to fund their theft and excess. And I'm not speaking about Scalise and Johnson's particularly. I'm saying that across the board, this government is out of control. Right, left, and in between, with the exception of like 5 people.
Yeah,
Thomas Massey,
right,
of course.
at most.
And of course, Thomas Massey has his opponent that Trump is, encouraging everyone to defeat Massey because Massey's for freedom. She has donated, Marian Edelman, the same one that gave Trump $250 million, which I believe is why we're at war on behalf of Israel and Iran, also has given $20 million in a congressional race.
A primary
To the Republican, so-called, that refuses to debate Massey. Massey is fantastic. He is one of the only people looking out for Americans. He is against the FISA spying continuation. Furthermore, they all want to put a kill switch in our cars so that at any moment and any time, your car can be shut off. Can you imagine?
Well, yeah, it's easy to imagine.
He's-
The reason I can imagine is because it's tyrannical. Just think of just things that are horrific and tyrannical, and they're coming down the pike. Might take a few years, but they're coming.
Oh, it's nonsense.
So there's also a concept called consent of the governed. Jefferson talked about that because here's the thing. They don't have my consent. That's why months ago I said, to me this government's illegitimate. And I know I get pushback on that, but they're illegitimate to me. They don't have my consent. So what do you do? What do you do with a segment of the population that they don't consent to being governed by Washington? Well, they just do it by force. And when
That's it.
And when the government controls by only force and lies, and that's what it is. They'd much rather do it with lies than violence. And that's why we see nothing but lies. But when the lies don't work anymore, what's left?
Jail.
Yeah, violence.
That's it. They're going to put us all in jail.
well-
and that's the Democrats have, they've just flat out said they're impeaching Trump on day one, whatever. And then they're going to start going after all of his supporters.
Well, I'm not going to say that Trump doesn't deserve it. What happened those first few days of this Iran war is scores of young girls got killed.
Yeah, it's
that's an
horrific.
impeachable offense.
No, but my point is, I'm not getting into I'm getting into the fact that they're coming after us. We are at risk to lose what rights we have left. Now, you can read. I guess it's Paul Craig Roberts has a new article out. I recommend you go look at it, and he very nicely summarizes all of the rights that we have lost. This is not just Michelle and Tom going crazy. We have been steadily losing our rights over the years, starting with Lincoln destroying states' rights, then the termination of, then we had an income tax, which was not allowed in the Constitution, which was passed under very bizarre circumstances. Habeas corpus set aside by Bush, and he
and by Lincoln.
And the right to hold Americans indefinitely without charges exists thanks to Barack Obama. And you can go look up the case, Hedges versus Obama. And on that happy note, Tom, I say everyone go to Jazz Fest and love each other and throw them off. Bye.